welcome back to Turning Point Tonight, where together we are charting the course of America's cultural comeback. Thanks for sticking with us. My name is Joe Bob. Let's bring in a guest that we love having on the show, Stephen Gardner, host of the Stephen Gardner Show on YouTube. Stephen, how you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you. And yeah, no kings for 250 years. Even Donald Trump can't seem to figure that one out.
You know, with all of the back and forth that went on last night, today, I mean, really for the last several weeks with the big, beautiful bill, you know, you'd think the king can just go, hey, no, and do what he wants to do. But I've been saying this for a long time. Donald Trump is a terrible king. He's not good at kinging and needs to, I don't know, be more kingly, I guess, if he's going to get called that. But one of the big things that the king has decreed, again, sarcasm, is USAID, right? Everybody's been talking about making cuts to the things that were waste, fraud, and abuse. USAID is definitely one of those big ones on the chopping block. Actually, there was a fantastic clip kind of outlining how much money gets wasted on USAID. Let me play that clip, and I want to get your reaction to this. Check this out.
We are not ending foreign aid. We are making it more nimble. We are operating at the speed of relevancy to making sure that the millions and billions of dollars that we spend on aid get to where it is meant to go. There is nothing to be proud of when 90%, according to Samantha Powers, is not even making it to the people to whom it was promised. But it will be functional, it will be auditable, we will know where it's going, and we will see results.
So, Stephen, big statistic there. 90% of USAID money was not getting to its end user, which is the whole point of aid. What are your thoughts about this, especially with how much heat the administration has gotten over wanting to make it run more efficiently?
You know, I hate that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are fighting, but one of the babies that came out of that relationship was Doge cleaning up USAID. 90% of the money that they take out of our paycheck for USAID wasn't even arriving. Like, imagine if 90% of missiles weren't arriving in Ukraine, 90% of cash, 90% of tanks, right? But the reason that nobody seemed to care or make a peep about it publicly is because it was going to Democrat family members, their wife, their daughter, their brother-in-law, their son. Somebody was getting more and more money. And, you know, this is probably why they kept trying to bump that up, not so that they could do more good around the globe, but so that they could have a secret pay raise in order to survive the Biden inflation that hit the middle class so difficult. So I think it's great. I say shut it down. There's better ways to spend my hard-earned tax money. I'm happy about it.
You know, on top of that, too, you've seen clips from around the world. We've even played some on this show. I'm going to get the country wrong. It might have been Kenya, but one of those sub-Saharan African countries where the leader of the country, people were talking about, oh, USAID is going away. We're screwed. The leader of the country said, why? Just make it happen for yourself. Do all the things that you need to do to make sure you keep your family afloat. This shouldn't be that big of a problem. I mean, what do you say to the people around the world that are screaming about this, that also, I don't know, not to, you know, belittle the problems that other people have around the world, but, you know, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, make something happen for yourself, and maybe you won't need US taxpayer dollars.
I mean, they've obviously, like a drug addict, they've become addicted to that money. Even though it was only 10% that was arriving, that 10%, they were counting on it. They got accustomed to it. It's like if all of a sudden Christmas just got canceled. Oh, you know what? There was no Jesus, no more Christmas for the rest of our lives. That is cut off. No presents, no family tradition. You would go, wait, what is going on? I've had this my entire life. So I'm sure that there is frustration, there is sadness, but like this African leader said, it wasn't your money to begin with. So you're going to have to now figure it out. But there's been so many lies around USAID. Now you've got former President George Bush teaming up with former President Barack Obama to publicly shame Donald Trump, saying, you will be held accountable for the death of hundreds of thousands of people around the world. Like, Really? That 90% of that money wasn't even arriving. So how about the millions of people that could have been saved if the other 90% arrived? I don't know why George Bush, when he does decide to come out of retirement, it's always to shame Donald Trump and never to do anything good for the Republican base.
Yeah, I've never understood that either, and you have so many different variables here, especially too. I think people when they see those numbers, right, how much money gets into USAID, they put it in the context of what that money can buy in American dollars in on American soil. When in reality, it doesn't actually take all that much money if used efficiently to make some big dents around the world. But for some reason, we have it contextualized in our head that okay, well this wouldn't go anywhere if we sent it to Detroit. It'd be all gone in a heartbeat. It's okay, well money goes further in other parts of the world. Speaking of other parts of the world, I thought this was really interesting and kind of a feel-good story. We're going into a holiday weekend. People are celebrating No Kings. There was a Disney cruise in which a poor young woman, poor young lady girl, fell off the boat, and usually it's horrifying, but that is a death sentence. You don't, people forget that the ocean is big and vast, and when people fall off cruise ships, it is an extremely dangerous situation where they rarely find people. This dad jumped off the cruise ship and ended up saving his daughter. I think this is a great story overall. Just not even in the specifics of it, but just the overall 30,000-foot view. This is what a parent would do for their kid. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I think it's such a beautiful story. It could have gone wrong. We could have been covering the death of this 5-year-old girl. I guess the father had put her up in order to take a picture. She fell backwards into the ocean, and literally that part of you that loves your child more than anything on planet Earth was like, I've got to jump in right now or this child is dead. And so without even thinking, he just jumps in and immediately starts looking for her. Gratefully, other people started screaming and yelling and pointing. The Disney crew, because they had practiced this so many times, they were able to get out and rescue them within 20 minutes. It's a total feel-good story that totally could have gone wrong. But yes, this guy is a hero. I would have done the same thing. I was talking about this while fishing with a friend of mine, and he said, dude, I would have been in the water immediately. I said, I might have looked for a dinghy or a lifesaver for 5 seconds, but I would have been in that water. There's no way I would let my child die alone or die at all. I would do everything I could to save my child.
Yeah, and I think with the current political climate around fathers specifically, I think this is a great example of just how important, not again from a physical safety standpoint specifically and only, but just in general, how important father figures are around the world and especially to young kids. This is completely apropos of nothing, and maybe be a I wouldn't say tawdry because it's fine. It's just it's funny. It's funny to see people you like dunk on people that you don't like. I'm gonna read this tweet. I call everything a tweet. I know it's a truth post, or I get it. That's how my brain works. Donald Trump dunking on Jamie Raskin. He's talking about the Bills and all that sort of stuff, but I think the real funny part is here when he says he's been consistently losing to me for years, and I love watching his ugly face as he's forced to consistently concede defeat to Trump. Um, I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing at this. Like, is that the most presidential thing to say? Have other presidents mouthed off like this? Probably not, but I think it's kind of funny. What are your thoughts?
I mean, the only other one I've ever heard of is, Richard Nixon on tape in the Oval Office. But Donald Trump has been at odds with Jamie Raskins. He really is a loser of a politician. He doesn't really get a lot done. However, he led the charge on the two stupid, wasteful impeachment processes against President Trump. And he's a bad member of Congress. He doesn't really get a lot done. Now, should Trump do this? Nah, it's probably not presidential, but is Donald Trump going to do this? Absolutely. Like this is a New Yorker who is not going to put up with this guy, making his life difficult. So I think it's great. And you know what? Jamie Raskins is not the best looking guy. So at least he was truthful about that.
I was going to say, as you were talking and the B-roll was rolling through, I can confidently say, fact check true. Ugly face. Now, whether or not that's how you should judge your politicians, maybe you should throw some policy and ideology in there. But also, again, fact check true. Jamie Raskin, ugly face. Stephen Gardner, host of the Stephen Gardner Show on YouTube. Thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much.